Hello, friends, family, others. Welcome back to Keith's Kitchen. This week, I'm making something that is a personal favorite of mine and is something that reminds me of fall. I don't know why. Somebody can hopefully tell me why this reminds me of fall. It just does. We're making homemade Chex Mix. This is awesome. Okay, look. Behind me, I have a ton of different cereal. Obviously, Chex. But I also have Cheerios, the plain kind, although you could do Honey Nut. Stay away from Frosted. Pretzel sticks, bagel crisps. You could add in some like peanuts or whatever if you want, but the most important thing about Chex Mix, homemade Chex Mix, I should say, you need butter, you need Worcestershire, that sauce that nobody knows how to pronounce. All right, some people say they know how to pronounce it. Not true, okay? I looked it up, all the way back. One of the topics, actually, of the Geneva Convention was how to pronounce Worcestershire. And they, at the end of it, they just said, you know what, we don't know. We'll bring it up at the next Geneva Convention. And then there never was another one. And so nobody knows. Okay, but you need that. And then you need, some may disagree, but I think you need Chex cereal, okay? This stuff is necessary for Chex Mix. Otherwise, it's just snack mix. You don't go out and buy snack mix. You go out and buy Chex Mix. And today we're gonna stay in, I should say, and make Chex Mix. So, let's cook. All right, friends, first thing we need is a stick of butter. This is one whole stick that we're going to melt in the microwave in a microwave-safe bowl. Now, I microwaved mine for about 15-second increments until it was completely melted. You could also do this on a pot on the stove, but I decided not to. Microwave's just easier. So, this will give you about a half cup of melted butter. Once you've melted that butter, we're going to add in a third cup of Worcestershire sauce and whisk it nicely to combine, and then we'll add some spices. So I have 2 tablespoons of paprika, 1 tablespoon of Lawry's seasoned salt, 2 tablespoons of garlic powder, and a half teaspoon of black pepper. Add that right in there. Now you can adjust those to your preferred liking if you want to leave out the paprika or whatever. But I thought it was a really nice mixture. So whisk that together until it is nice and smooth as it can be. And I actually ended up adding a little bit more Worcestershire. I tasted it and I thought it needed it. So up to you. Again, personal preference. No judgment zone here. So whisk it up, and now preheat your oven. I should have done that at the beginning, but we're going with a low temperature, 250 degrees, and that will ensure that the Chex Mix doesn't burn and that it dries out while we cook it. So to a bowl, we're going to add some cereal. So this is 2 cups of rice Chex, 2 1/4 cups of wheat Chex, 2 1/4 cups of corn Chex, 2 cups of plain Cheerios, a half cup of crushed plain bagel chips. These are optional, but I kind of like them. And then 1 cup of pretzel sticks. Now at this point I realized that's a pretty full bowl. Well, we're gonna go for it, okay? So wash your hands before mixing this stuff, not only because of the season, just because you care about health, okay? Wash your hands and put on an apron, all right? Before mixing, just so that you don't get any of that butter mixture once we start mixing it. So I realized it was futile. I'm gonna have to swap for a bigger bowl. So use your brain, don't be like me, think ahead. All right, so once I transferred everything to that bigger bowl, you can mix it by hand, and we're just going to mix so that all the cereal is evenly distributed. And then we're going to start by adding about half of our butter Worcestershire sauce spice mixture. And we'll start mixing that by hand. Now you could use a spoon to mix this, but in my experience, mixing with a spoon just kind of crushes the cereal up and you have to be a little bit more careful. So mix with your hands. And again, my bowl just wasn't big enough. I don't know. So get a bigger bowl. Don't make a mess like me. Anyway, once you've gotten that pretty well incorporated, add the rest of your butter Worcestershire spice mixture and give it a toss. And at this point, after I spilled a little bit more, as you can see, I decided to use my brain and work smarter, not harder, and just mix right on top of the baking sheets like I should have been doing from the beginning. So if anything spilled out, it would just spill onto the baking sheets. So continue mixing until the cereal is nice and evenly coated. Wash your hands, clean up your workstation. Now it's time to spread out the Chex Mix. So spread out your Chex Mix about half on each sheet and into a nice thin layer. And the whole goal of this, of baking it at a low temperature, baking it in a nice thin layer, is to dry it out. So what we don't want to do is burn the Chex, burn the butter. That would just make it really nasty. I've done that before. And yeah, so low and slow is the name of the game. So once your oven is preheated, pop your Chex Mix right in the oven, again at 250, for an hour. 1 whole hour. It's going to be the longest hour of your life. Luckily for you, though, every 15 minutes, you need to take it out and stir it. That will ensure that the Chex Mix dries out properly and you don't get any weird, soggy clumps of Chex. After that hour is up, pull out the Chex Mix and wait. Yeah, I know, that's hard to do, okay? But trust me, it gives you the best product. Wait about 10 minutes, and then at that point, your Chex Mix will have cooled a little bit. It will have crisped up nicely, and it'll be ready to eat. Make sure you store this in an airtight container, and it'll last you about 2 weeks, or 2 days in my case. All right, the Chex Mix is finished. All right, we went through some trials and tribulations. Too small of a bowl, mess everywhere, the weird apron, but we made it to the end. Here is the finished product. Now, it's hard to kind of capture on camera, and the shot I took of the Chex Mix hopefully gives you an idea of what it looks like. I'm excited. Full disclosure, I've had a little bit of it already. It's really hard not to dig right in, but we'll give it a taste. Got one of each Chex. Man, there's something about homemade Chex Mix. It just tastes better. Whether it's the love that you poured into it, okay? Not blaming Mr. and Mrs. Chex Mix who make it over at the factory. I'm sure they put lots of love into it, all right? But this is different. It just tastes better. Also, one thing I love about this is that you can add whatever you want. So I'm actually thinking about doing a sweet and salty version with some brown sugar and some nuts and some, maybe even, I don't know. I'll think of it later, right? But I definitely was thinking of brown sugar and some nuts and some other stuff going with the Chex. It'd be awesome, right? But you can really make this your own. You can make this gluten-free if you want, if that's your thing. If not, leave it the way it is. Or make it gluten-free just for fun. Yeah, I'm not gonna, it's a no judgment zone, okay? Well, this is fantastic. I'm really happy. I made two huge sheet pans of it, so that'll last me about 2 days. And then it's pretty easy to make more. A little bit of I don't know, Tupperware, put it in there. It'll last for like 2 weeks. So that's all I got for you guys. I really hope you enjoy it. I hope you make this. This is something that I definitely recommend. School's going back. Whether you're meeting in person or you're doing online school, it's nice to have a snack, okay? So that's been Keith's Kitchen. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next week. Goodbye.